What up, yo?
A ghost.
A gaist.
What up, yo? How's it going, guys? How you guys doing? Alrighty. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday. It is that hump day, meaning that we're close to that weekend. And some people might get the rest of the week off just because it's that beautiful 4th of July, the day that we told Britain to go fuck themselves. We did those non-gentleman-like tactics to fight for our freedom. Delicious. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about video games because that's more important, right? That is more important. But we are here nonetheless. We are on YouTube. Oh, here we go. Making sure everything is up. We are on YouTube. We are on Rumble. We are on Kick. We're on Locals. And we are on X. Yes, so make sure you follow me on all of those social media platforms that I just listed there. And there's other ones as well listed in the description, specifically YouTube and Rumble, possibly even Kick. I think I have that set up over there. But over on X, you can find my Lincoln tree to go check out the other social media in that capacity. Make sure to smash the subscribe, make sure to punch the thumbs up, and make sure to turn on notifications to get notified when I go live. Because heaven forbid YouTube sends out notifications. In fact, I'm more than positive I'm shadow banned. For the past couple of these streams, my monetization has been limited. So they don't like what I have to say. Now, granted, I go a little ham, if you will, on certain topics and whatnot. So that might be my fault. But you know what? We're in America, baby. I should be able to say whatever the hell I want. If you don't like it, go fist yourself. Because what I'm saying is the truth. Truth, baby. But yeah, all the more reason why to, maybe check out my Locals or check out Rumble and to be subscribed there, because that way you can for sure get notified. And of course, beyond that, if you want to help support the channel by going beyond just pushing the algorithm, maybe check out memberships and subscription tiers on ye old Rumble, and I suppose YouTube as well. Or check out the Locals. But anyway, I am humbled, I am blessed to hang out with you guys, and for you guys hanging out with me, because I'm sure there's a lot more better things you could be doing with your time than hanging out with me. However, let's hop into this. We've got some articles that I managed to pull up. Unfortunately, I was running a little bit late with work, so I didn't exactly have things super ready to go. Hence why we started at 8:30 as opposed to 8, which is normally the time I try to come online, whether that's the Power Up podcast or game streaming. So, oh well. But I did notice that a lot of the articles we do have may not be the most uplifting of things, but we'll make the best out of it. So let's hop into this. And I forgot to set up my screen capture here, so apologies when I switch over to here and you see nothing. Luckily, I have everything else set up here. Get that set up. There we go. Do some adjustments on my end. Whoop. And there we go. Alrighty. So kind of the main one that I saw here that we'll look into is, but it's no surprise, but we'll look into it anyway. And that, of course, is a Disney executive. Apparently, wants to show children, LGBTQ garbage because, well, I'm sure a lot of them don't like to be told it, but more than likely they're PDF files. And you never, it's just like, dude, as an adult, I don't care what you do. Scripture-wise, it's debauchery and not good. Not good on your soul in terms of when the old judgment day comes. So, but you know what? You're an adult. You do you. Why go after the kids? Why? So we'll look at that topic, which can tie into Microsoft apparently laying off, I think Microsoft. The headline says another round of layoffs hit Xbox and Microsoft. Oh, as company fully embraces woke agenda. So you can see how it ties in. So we got that going on. We've got, I said I wasn't really going to talk about it, but there's more about Dr. Disrespect. So there's an article here that might summarize everything up to date currently. We'll quickly look over it, but I'm done with Dr. Disrespect just because it seems to be getting worse and worse. And we kind of had a feeling that, once if it truly came out that you were talking with a minor, you're like, yep, that's it, sort of thing. In terms of like sexual conduct, and that sort of thing. So we might look over to that. Definitely want to read this article on showcasing, I guess, tying into that 4th of July theme, showcasing on how England sucks. And because apparently British police arrested and sentenced a man to jail for 4 months for apparently carrying the Master Sword from Legend of Zelda toy. And it was really small, too. So you remember when, like, UK people, like, get their nut off because they talk about how, we got rid of all guns and we don't have mass shootings, XYZ and stuff like that. But then, everything else like stabbings, beatings and stuff is just skyrockets. And then you have stupid crap like this where apparently you can't even carry a toy around. So, not a good look. We also have, apparently with the Dead Rising remaster that's coming out, the original voice of Frank West was not asked to return to reprise his role. It was given to someone else. So we'll look into that one. And then as we see right here, Street Fighter 2 producer hopes Assassin's Creed Shadows prove his Genji concept was right. Definitely want to look into this because so far shouldn't be backing Assassin's Creed Shadows because they just keep getting more and more shit piled upon them for beautifully representing Japan in that era by having the main protagonist, or at least one of them, being a black dude. Because when you think of Japan and you think of Asia, you think of a black guy from Africa. Maybe not even Africa, somewhere else. Around that area, Stop the live. Nope. But yeah, that is what we'll plan to do. So we'll go ahead and check out this article we have here. So Street Fighter 2 producer hopes Assassin's Creed Shadows prove his Genji concept was right. So Yoshiki Okamoto says he hopes Ubisoft can fulfill the dream we couldn't achieve. And what dream would that be? Veteran designer Oshiki Okamoto says he hopes Assassin's Creed Shadows succeeds so that it gives some validation to a game he produced in the past. Well, I hope Assassin's Creed Shadows fails miserably as well, because so far they're doing a shit job in trying to explain why it was necessary to have Yasuke or Yasuke, however you want to pronounce it. I keep hearing people pronounce it differently, but whatever. At this point, I don't care. So he worked for Capcom for nearly 2 decades and produced such titles as Street Fighter 2 and Final Fight. Good games. Said on his... For some reason, I was thinking of something else. So he said on his YouTube channel that Ubisoft's latest game reminds him of another he produced. PS2 titled Genji, Dawn of the Samurai. I've actually looked into this game. because I was rather interested in playing it. So when Yokomoto left Capcom, he founded Game Republic, and its first game was Genji. Genji is set in ancient Japan and features two protagonists, a fast and agile character called Yoshitsune, and a slow, powerful character called Benkei. Or Benkei, excuse me. According to Okamoto, as spotted by Automaton, Assassin's Creed Shadows reminds him of Genji, given its ancient Japan settings, and its use of two playable protagonists, speedy ninja Naoe and slow, powerful samurai Yasuke. Or Yasuke. I think people pronounce it Yasuke. Yasuke, whatever. So here's the video right here. He said that when he saw the trailer for Shadows, it reminded him of his time at Game Republic working at Genji. What was the difference, though, between your game and Assassin's Creed game? Because I could tell you right away. With your game, it seems to be appropriately set to represent Japan, while Assassin's Creed Shadows is not. They can't even get those, those Sakura seasons right. The old cherry blossoms. However, he also notes that if the game does sell well, he will take some self-satisfaction from it because it will prove that the concept behind Genji was a sound one, even if the final result wasn't as good as what he's hoped for. Well, I mean, I feel like you could find another game that kind of does what Assassin's Creed Shadows is doing. There's got to be another one that's the similar setup out there. I don't know why he's picking Assassin's Creed Shadows. Okamoto said that nobody wants to look back on something they did and acknowledge that it was a complete mistake, so he hopes that Shadows will give him the reassurance that even though he and his team weren't good enough to deliver with Genji, what they were trying to do was at least right. Well, here's a question right here. Let's look this up right now. Genji, what was it? Dawn of the Samurai? Is that what it was? Let's look this up right now. Let's look this up, dude. Oh my gosh. Dawn of the Samurai. Let's see how well it's sold. Okay, it received average. Seeing scores of 74 out of 100, 8 out of 10. Okay, 5 out of 10. So yeah, it's getting average stuff. 8.5 out of 10, 7.1 out of 10. Yeah, you're like 3 stars, 4.5 stars, maybe 5. Oh, GamePro really loved it. Famitsu gave it all 4 8s for a total of 32 out of 40. So it sounds like it didn't do too terrible. This was actually one of the games I was definitely interested in looking at. So I don't know. I don't know why he felt like he did terrible. To me, it sounds like it's good. Dum. Let's see. We were down here. However, he also noted that if the game... Okay, we already read that. Okamoto said that nobody wants to look back. Okay, we read that too. Assassin's Creed Shadows is released November 15th on PS5, Xbox Series XS, PC, Mac, and Amazon Luna. Ubisoft released a 13-minute Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay video last month, showing both protagonists in action. And we saw that trailer did not do so hot. There was many back and forths between this looks like garbage, it looks like Ghost of Tsushima, which honestly that's what I thought of. So it's like, okay, trying to capitalize on Ghost of Tsushima here, which that's not to say video games haven't tried to base their gameplay on other video games. But I mean that's all that this article mentioned. I just don't get why this guy's putting his hopes into Assassin's Creed Shadows, because there's already that petition that Japanese gamers are making to be like, hey, change this crap, because it's an insult to Japanese, which I do in Japan, which I do agree. Just because this dude's a historical figure, one, doesn't mean he represents Japan. Two, who cares about his perspective of how he saw stuff? If literally this game in Japan is to be a samurai, Yasuke or Yasuke is a poor representation of of the samurai class. Especially when the word of the day about his history is unknown. So I think you're backing the wrong pony here, buddy, in terms of hoping this sort of game that you've developed on a game you worked on in the past succeeds. Because I feel there's got to be other games that's done the same formula and has done better that you could find to place your bets on. But there you go. I mean, there's that one. This one I'm interested in because this has to deal with voice acting in union and, remastering and not reaching out to the OG voice actors. So let's take a gander. So Dead Rising's original Frank West voice actor says he wasn't asked to return for the remaster. Terrence Rotolo won't be reprising the role of Capcom's current gen makeover. Capcom announced last week that it was working on Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, a current gen makeover of its Xbox 360 game from 2006. However, fans noted that Frank appeared to have a different voice in the trailer's remaster, something his original voice artist has confirmed. As reported by ex-user Frank by Daylight, voice actor Terrence J. Rotolo was asked by another user on Instagram why he wasn't cast for the role in the remaster. Rotolo replied by confirming that Capcom didn't ask him to reprise the role, but said he didn't know why it was the case. The answer to your question is, I have no answer, he said. All I can say is that I've been grateful for every opportunity to help bring Frank to life. An actor's job, when called upon, is to show up prepared, deliver your best, and when done, move on to the next mission. I wasn't called for this mission. The reasons are the producer's own. Okay, so he himself just stated this, and it appears to be like this. But Frank by Daylight is implying that it's probably because the guy's union, Capcom, have a bias against anyone union-oriented. So it isn't clear why Rotolo hasn't been recast. One ex-user pointed out that the situation resembles that of Allison Court, who played Claire Redfield in Resident Evil 2 and reprised the role in a further 5 games, but then wasn't cast in the Resident Evil 2 remake. Well, yeah, because video games are coming to a point now where they just want to use that walking simulator all motion cap and pretty much just have whoever the actress is or actor have that be the voice as well. Or if it's, a model, they'll go out of their way to, especially if it's like a very beautiful woman, gotta defeminize her and make her a man, pretty much. There's that, and then just use a different voice actor for the line reads. So in a YouTube video at the time, Court claimed that she was asked if she wanted to reprise the role, and she said she would absolutely love to, but was then allegedly told that Capcom had decided to go with a non-union actor instead. She found out specifically that's because it was a non-union actor. I mean, the video is right here. How long is it?
Hi. So I hope everyone is happy. So your voices were heard. Thank you for all support. You guys are the best. shortly thereafter,
Not sure if you
agent
guys are
got
hearing it.
some emails from motion capture, and I heard from the company out in Vancouver. Absolutely, and I said, of course, yes. And as soon as they won the contract, they informed me that actually they wouldn't be needing my services because they were going non-union. So that's all I know. Services because they contract. They got the contract, and as soon as they won the contract, they informed me that actually they wouldn't be needing my services because they were going non-union.
Well, where's the
So
receipts on that?
that's all I know. I would have
Okay,
definitely
so she's
said
just claiming that. I mean, that's kind of like the situation with, oh, what's her name? Alyssa Helena Taylor, where, trust me, bro, they're not paying me well. And then you find out that she was given a good amount, but then, you know, why is she lying and all that stuff. Kind of the same situation. So, I mean, it's very well possible. I wouldn't be surprised because talking with Ruben Langdon, it's very possible it could be that way. Because he wasn't asked, because they dropped him from being Ken after, you know, because of wrongthink and what he believes. But that's kind of a different thing. So I don't want to. You can check out my past shows with talking with Ruben about that specific thing. And even that X space that he kind of talked about when, at least for that mobile version of, I think, Devil May Cry, they just went with other actors because they were cheaper. But that's kind of the thing, though. And, I mean, the whole union thing, obviously, if you were a part of a union, you would be happy about it because you're essentially getting more money. But the fact of the matter is that the higher-ups in the union don't care about the people in the lower stuff. So, to me, there's, like, unions aren't going to help you in the end, especially if you're on the lower tier. Because the higher-ups will say, well, we're doing it for you guys. We're doing it for this. But then you look at that Helena Taylor instance with Bayonetta 3 with her being replaced by Jennifer Hale. If it turned out that she did get a crappy offer to reprise her role, and say Jennifer Hale already recorded a lot of stuff, would Jennifer Hale step down and return that money and say, based on principle, you guys did not treat Helena Taylor fair, therefore I'm giving my money back, and would want her to do it? You think that they would give that up for clout? You know, they always do this for clout. You think they would do that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So they don't see the big dogs in unions do not care about the people in the little dog. And like all the little dogs who believe that they're doing this for the right, you know, for fair pay, XYZ, it's going to come to it to an extent. But then they get this attitude where then they go to places where there's non-union. And we saw this, my friend Eric talked about it back when Funimation was around, when there was always times when LA people would try to come over to Funimation and convince them to go union. You know, they bitch about it. And then we've seen the voice actors, the prominent voice actors over there, how a lot of them are a bunch of backstabbers and a bunch of snakes and whatnot. So when you have people like that, you don't feel bad when they get replaced because they're expendable. And that's the key thing about it, is that these people are expendable. Yes, nostalgia definitely does take a place in terms of like, yeah, it would have been nice to see the people that I enjoyed doing it, kind of like with the Evangelion sort of thing, when they had the Blu-ray come out on Netflix and then they replaced it with a garbage cast when they should have just stuck with the original. But then they redid it with the original cast for rebuild and whatnot, and then they released that limited Blu-ray release that had the OG audio there too, which some people said, you know, which is hilarious because the Netflix the Netflix dub was supposedly very accurate with the translation, but then you saw stiff acting and actually straight up lines that were not translated correctly, because the guy who translated it is, believe, a woke piece of shit who catered to that instead of like giving an accurate translation here. But whatever. Anywho, so like this is, you know, Capcom is garbage too. It's kind of like Capcom is garbage and unions are garbage because they claim that they're doing it for the little people, but the only people who benefit are the people in power. And then when you find out that the voice actor is, you know, woke or just a garbage person, you don't feel bad because, well, you're expendable, and that's really how it should be. You're expendable. We'll get someone else who would be grateful to have the opportunity to do it, you know? But would it have been nice to have gotten, to have asked if you would like to reprise your role? Yeah. But it is what it is. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster will be released on September 19th. The remaster will use the Resident Evil engine and will include quality of life improvements such as autosaving, revamped controls, and improved UI. You know, I never played Dead Rising because I know it was like one of those things where it actually does matter to like try to beat it in a certain amount of time for like good ending or something like that. So that's kind of why I stayed away, because I was just like, man, I don't want to deal with that. I should at least enjoy it, you know? Alrighty. We'll go ahead and we'll try to get out of here the Dr. Disrespect coming from Bounding into Comics. The past two ones were from Video Game Chronicle. So we have Bounding into Comics here. So this is a breakdown of the current publicly available information regarding streamer Dr. Disrespect's recent downfall from his original apartment, departure from Twitch, and to the current dust-up surrounding. Now, we've already kind of talked about what has happened. So, based on this, according to this, he admits to cheating on his wife of 8 years at the time during the year's TwitchCon. So, kind of knew about that. He returns to streaming. And then he received a setback in June of that year of 2017 to February 2018. So I'm assuming 2018. Or no, up until 2020, excuse me. So then June of 2020, he got permanently banned for unspecific reasons. So they went to court. So he admitted that he didn't know the reason why. So then he filed a lawsuit, which was settled in his favor in March of 2022. And the details were not made clear to the public following the event. Twitch did not admit any wrongdoing, but now they're, you know, changing their tune. And likewise, Doc did not admit anything either. So then people, you know, you're basic, you're going to talk about it? Nope, sort of thing. And then the big old June 2024, when a former Twitch employee made claims that he had been inappropriate with an underage Twitch user, and that those DMs are what earned Doc's removal from the platform. So these DMs were promised to be revealed at a live music show related to the Twitch employee's band, which I think is a grifting piece of garbage for your shitty band. So then Dr. Disrespect responds by pretty much admitting, like right here, were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes, but then doesn't really go into so much exactly what it's about, because he did say it did lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. But then Twitch declared that nothing was wrong. The court agreed that nothing was wrong, so because they settled, and then that was it. But now apparently it's an issue, so now it turns up of why isn't Twitch being punished for this? Because they should. I've said before, and my stance still remains, is that everyone involved in this should be punished. Twitch, Dr. Disrespect, and even the ex-Twitch people. Because why would you hide supposed extreme sexual messages to a minor which at the time, because it was very vague, it could have very well been a boy or a girl. We don't know. But I think it was a girl. Again, maybe this will cover it up. And, because Twitch and the ex-Twitch employees didn't say anything, that could have led on to a possible harm. So they're just as guilty, So although the admission was disturbing to the majority of Doc fan base, the attempt to edit out the word minor, yeah, he kind of did that. So then people like Nick Merckx and other people kind of came out and were like, yep, we're stepping away from this dude. So now this is where I'm interested in, this Lena Love, because I did not, that's kind of where I stopped at the moment, because I pretty much said the final piece of the puzzle is to find out what the texts were. Because if they were truly that bad, what up, you're wrong? Sounds like she's salty about it. Yep. That might have been towards the one person to play, to reprise her roles as Jill Valentine, Claire Redfield, excuse me. Oh, and I definitely left that on a very appropriate message here. Whoops. Anyway, why didn't they have this like down here so that you read this section and then you read the inappropriate text right here? That doesn't make sense. So mingled with the flurry of new information coming out about Dr. Disrespect's extramarital antics, rests Lena Love. So Love is a trans sex worker who has produced DMs of Dr. Disrespect, communicating very intimately with Lena on multiple platforms. Ooh. Yeah, that's apparently what the message is up there. Trans sex worker. So this is a dude that's a woman now, and those are fake boobs, I'm assuming. So this is what happens when you become addicted to debauchery, possibly, even pornography and stuff like that, is that the lines get so blurred that it's just like, you're just being overtaken by that stuff. And, based on scripture and stuff, and with God's help, you can overcome that stuff and whatnot. But this is where this insanity comes from. This is where a lot of the world's turning to now, where everything is just becoming debauchery. And all this, like, stuff is mixing in with this idea of concept of love and whatnot and addiction and all that stuff. So, did he actually know that it was a trans worker? I kind of want to, because I'm confused, because I want to make sure, like, we know what's up here. And no, I am not looking up her shit. Lena Love. So, okay, like, apparently Lena Love is a fictional character from the CBS soap opera, The Young and the Restless. Like, I'm looking this up because how sometimes, because apparently, gender and all this stuff is so fluid that people assign these bullshit labels to them when it's like, you're either a man or a woman. Like, I really do not want to click into any of any of this. Whatever. I'm not really getting this. Like, I just typed it in, like, Google search, and I'm not really seeing, like, it showcase. Because if she was trans, she would be, like, plastered all over the place about being it. And I'm not seeing it, so I guess. But at face value here, I'll take your word, bounding into comics. Anyway, so in one instance, he declares that he is pleasuring himself and requesting directions from Lena. The only fan model, well, that explains it right there. Had this to say? What is this? What does this link to? It links to X. Crap. Musician, model. See, but this, I don't get, see, she's not stating that she's trans, so I don't understand where they're getting the trans from. Oh, I guess. Oh, right there. Literally says transex. Okay, well, that answered that question. Never mind. Oh, and there's literally a quote right here. I'm retarded. During that time in 2017, when he was cheating on his wife with not only me, a trans sex worker, but also another woman. Well, that would mean then cheating on me, a dude, and also another woman. A dude that went out of his way to heighten themselves up with female beauty, apparently. Well, I guess female features, which, as a guy who likes women, it's beautiful. Anywho, and texting a minor. He was exploiting me by making me give him cam shows with the promise of partnership. After the cam shows, he went ahead and blocked me. Oh, so you fell for it and you got screwed over. Probably like how you're screwing over your OnlyFans people. That's kind of funny. Dr. Disrespect got her, or got, I guess, him good. So let's be real. If that's really a dude, it's a dude. Anyway. So at this time, Lena's claims are unverified by Dr. Disrespect or a third party with authority on the matter. What was present is a screen recording of the conversation with Doctor. It is assumed by this author that these are the most damning of the communications, but I also believe this tale ended when Guy Beam admitted to having inappropriate communications with the minor. Yeah, I mean, if that's legit, then yeah. If that's getting into the same thing he reiterated to the minor, not good. Okay. So, as of this writing guide, Dr. Disrespect BM has not returned to streaming since admission post on June 25th, 2024. YouTube has suspended monetization on Dr. Disrespect's channel for violating their creator responsibility policy. I mean, fuck YouTube, but yeah. This action came in the wake of new allegations and admissions for Dr. Disrespect regarding inappropriate communications with the minor, or with a minor, which led to a... See, even they're still using minor, so we don't know if it was like a woman or a male, which led to a broader fallout, including the termination of his relationships with several companies and organizations, such as Turtle Beach, San Francisco 49ers, and Midnight Society, the game studio he co-founded. So, again, it's definitely leading up to, like, he has said this stuff, and it's pretty much, again, the final piece of the puzzle is to see the actual chat between him and the supposed minor. But the court settled, like Twitch and him settled, and it found no wrongdoing. So is it fair for YouTube to suspend his monetization? No. Because court-wise and legal-wise, they found nothing wrong. But then again, if there actually was something wrong, yeah, then definitely he needs to, to the extent of what it is, like, if he needs to be punished, yeah, punish him. But Twitch is also responsible, and so are those ex-Twitch employees. As far as, again, and I've said it before, keeping in line of what I've said, everyone involved is apparently a big pile of shit and disgusting humans. And if they're all responsible, then they should all, get punished. The lesson here is if you're struggling with sexual lust or pornography and stuff like that, like, do your best to cut yourself off from it and get help, And definitely don't go talking to minors, especially if you find out that you were talking to a minor. You end that shit right there before it's too late. But yeah, everyone involved in this it's becoming more and more apparent that Twitch definitely needs punishment for sure. Dr. Disrespect, yeah, I would say so, and as well as the X and Twitch guy, the ex Twitch employees, because it all ties into the fact of if you guys knew that this was happening and he was saying this stuff and it potentially could lead into a Chris Hansen sort of setup and harm could happen, you guys are guilty. You guys should have stopped that and reported it or whatever, but you didn't. You didn't. You didn't. You did not. All right, so that was the Dr. Disrespect stuff. Yeah, insanity. So this comes from Niche Gamer. Now this sounds like absolute bullshit. British police sentence man to 4 months over a Master Sword toy. Look at that. Literally a ruler. And that almost reminds me of like the Anger Sword from the Dragon Ball Z collectible card game that I used to play. British courts have sentenced a man to 4 months in jail for carrying a tiny Master Sword replica in public. Bullshit. Gosh. Dude. England, you guys are
gay.
You guys are so gay. You're gonna ban knives now? Hasn't there been like some serial stabbing happening in that has happened in the UK? That's not good. So according to the Warwickshire police, the man was found guilty of possessing a bladed weapon in public. On June 8th, he was spotted carrying the toy in the town of Nuneaton. Police were informed of his toy-carrying activities via CCTV footage and responded promptly. That is scary. He was reported because they were literally spying on him. That is insane and disgusting. See, now they're saying it's a bladed weapon, but it's a toy. So was it actually sharp? Anthony Bray, a 48-year-old man, was approached by police and insisted he had no intentions of using his toy to cause harm, and it was intended to be a fidget which he used to keep his hands occupied. Yes, they have fidget things, and this could definitely constitute as it. Master Sword is the iconic weapon wielded by Link in the Legend of Zelda series and is used to slay the evil Ganon whenever he appears throughout history. The two bound by fate to fight. So in a 12-month period ending in March 2023, there were 244 fatal stabbings. Oh, well, that answers that question of you're going to ban knives now too? Just keep banning stuff. That's going to solve the problem, right? Because I'm sure criminals will be like, oh, they banned it. I guess we won't do it again. In England and Wales, and 101 of those were committed with household kitchen knives. We haven't been able to find any statistics on Master Sword. Yeah, because it's garbage. What a bunch of scum. UK sucks. Gosh. Literally arresting a man and sentencing him for 4 months for a Master Sword toy, saying, yeah, I just use it to fidget and I'm not going to do anything. Like, why? Found guilty of possessing a bladed weapon in public. So this is indicating that the guy's sharp, like the sword is legitimately sharp. Here, we're going to garbage. Fine. Anthony Bray sentenced to 4 months for possession of replica Master Sword. So this is from the police. So it measures a total length of 6 inches. Okay. So all right, so literally the size of this. You guys can see that. Whoops. Go over here. So that's how long it is. The length of your average male penis. The blade was inside a sheath and could be released from the sheath with the press of a button. That's cool. So they were made aware of it by the retarded CCTV operators with something in his hand. He was approached by officers with the item in his hand visible, at which point he was arrested as was carrying a bladed article. Was it actually sharp, though? Because if it wasn't, who gives a shit? Like, seriously, you could get arrested for anything then. What if you're carrying a ruler? Put enough force into that, you could do damage to someone. This is so stupid. This is disgusting. This is why this is why government sucks. That's the reason why. So he claimed that the sword was a fidget, something to keep his hands busy. He had bought it online as a fidget toy. Okay. So he could possibly have a lawsuit here because if he literally got arrested for carrying a bladed article and the website is advertising it as a harmless fidget toy, that's a problem. So officers tried to explain to Bray that despite its intended purpose, it was in fact a sharp-pointed item which could be used as a weapon and might put others in fear of it being used against him. Who cares? He hasn't done anything. He was also carrying it openly in the town center, despite admitting that it could be perceived as threatening if someone else saw it. Bray insisted during his interview that he would not have used it as a weapon. Yeah, and has this guy been in trouble at all with the law? That's another question, too. If this is literally a first-time offense because you're terrified that something could possibly be made into a stabbing thing, which, let's be real, multiple things can be made into a shank and could be used to stab. And they're claiming it's a bladed weapon. I want to know how sharp it is. I wonder what the website of where this came from. Because if it's literally as dull as hell, like, these guys can get fucked. I don't know why I said just fuck. They can get fucked. So he was sentenced at court on the 28th of June, 2024, so not too long ago. In addition to 4 months in prison, that is so bullshit. He's required to pay a victim surcharge of £154. He didn't do anything. Sergeant Spellman of the Patrol Investigation Unit said, "We take a zero tolerance to bladed articles in public, and Bray has fallen afoul of this. It is possible to find fidget toys that aren't 6 inches blade. It is possible not to walk down the street." Go fuck yourself, dude. Go fuck yourself. Does the law say that you're not allowed to carry anything at like 6 inches and over? With a bit more self-awareness, Bray could have avoided contact with us completely. No, if little more, less government, and not you guys spying on your citizens, you wouldn't have to arrest an innocent person for literally carrying a fidget toy. Gosh.
This guy must be a fag.
Dude, that sergeant is a fag. Straight up fag. Or what is it, a puffer? I think is the term they might use. Wow, that one really got me salty. So garbage. All right. Coming from that Park Place, we have another round of layoffs hits Xbox and Microsoft as company fully embraces woke agenda. Well, to be expected, which is what I find hilarious, because they're not putting two and two together that the reason all these layoffs are happening is because woke ideology destroys companies. And it'd be better off just to ignore it completely and not do it. Oh, brother. So dumb. So Microsoft executives have rolled out another round of layoffs at Xbox, as multiple employees have reported they are no longer employed by the company. All of this comes as the company fully embraces the woke agenda. Go woke, go broke. When you go woke, you will get broke. Ex-user Jessa Birdie, which, I mean, we can't really zoom in on that picture, but announced she had been laid off, writing, "Sad to announce that my role with Xbox has been eliminated. To all those who have been part of Team Xbox, thank you. Hope I made you proud." Corey Ebert, a technical program manager, announced on LinkedIn, "Well, this isn't how I thought today was going to go. After nearly 15 years, seriously 2 months shy, Microsoft had made the decision to end our working relationship effective immediately due to changes in the business direction and the landscape. I have marked myself as open to work, and I am available for all opportunities that my network may know of. This was a dream career that enabled me to do many amazing things, and I will always look back on the 15 years fondly, regardless of what is happening." Now, the question, and might possibly the irony of it all, is, are these woke people? Because that should be a sign of awareness that going woke gets you fired, and that only specific woke people will be kept on until they are no longer useful. So we've got Angela Visnes, a senior project manager at Microsoft, also posted on LinkedIn. "In light of the recent layoffs at Microsoft, my position was eliminated, and I am now on the lookout for my next career advice or adventure. It was an incredible ride." Ugh. Story's getting me yawning over. I'm just kidding. "It was an incredible ride, and I'm extremely grateful for all the opportunities I was given. To my amazing colleagues and mentors, thank you for your support, guidance, and friendship. Working alongside such talented individuals has been an honor, and I have learned so much from each of you." Now, if all of these people like legitimately were good workers and actually cared about trying to make the company the best they could be, as opposed to just being your woke DEI activist hire, then yeah, I do feel sorry for them, for sure. But again, this is what happens. This is what happens when you let the woke infestation weasel its way up the video game garden. It infests it with weeds that need to be burned and removed. Senior editor at The Verge, well, I mean, that's The Verge we're talking about, Tom Warren also reported more Xbox layoffs happening this week. It announced in January it was laying off around 1,900 employees after it acquired Activision Blizzard, the owner of Call of Duty and World of Warcraft. At the time, Game at Microsoft CEO Phil Spencer explained the layoffs in a memento, dealing that it was to align on a strategy and an execution plan with a sustainable cost structure that will support the whole of our growth of our growing business. Together, we've set priorities, identified areas of overlap, and ensured that we're all aligned on the best opportunities to grow. None of that's going to happen because you're following woke ideology. He continued, "As part of this process, we have made the painful decision to reduce the size of our gaming workforce by approximately 1,900 roles out of the 22,000 people on our team." Yeah, I'm sure it was just devastating to you to fire these people. So he would share more detail in an interview with Polygon, where he explained that the layoffs were a mix of what he sees as a large trend of a stagnant and even shrinking market, as well as conditions that were unique to Activision, Blizzard, King, and Xbox. He shared it's a little bit of both, but I'll say the thing that has me most concerned for the industry is the lack of growth. Yeah, because you're going woke. That's the reason why. And when you have an industry that is projected to be smaller next year in terms of players and dollars, and you get a lot of public traded companies that are in the industry that have to show their investors growth, because why else does somebody own a share of someone's stock if it's not going to grow? Side of the business that then gets scrutinized is the cost side. At this point, you're not going to have a game team, only one or two. Yeah. You know what people ought to do? They just ought to go back to how it was back in the 90s and 80s, where you only had just a small team. A lot of great games were made doing that. But no, you got to cater to a small, retarded, fringe minority. You got to hire activists. You got to hire DEI consultants. You got to hire you know, activist community managers to represent your company on social media. You got to do all this and then just fire like people that could possibly were like actually did well for the company back in the day, but because they don't meet your standards. Oof. So dumb. Because if you're not going to grow the revenue side, then the cost side becomes challenge, he added. Well, like actual real gamers have said many, many times, you don't make money when you go woke. Oh my gosh. Like how, I mean, I won't weep at all like when these companies bleed money. And at this point, I hope they bleed money because they need to lose as much money as possible to get this retarded idea out of their head that they have to cater to a bunch of dyed hair, fat people who don't know themselves because, oh my gosh, after high school, the world doesn't care about me, which is just straight up reality. And think for some reason that this is going to be a secret gold mine that they can cash in on. He went on, we're a business. I've said over and over, I don't get any luxury of not having a profitable, growing business inside of Microsoft, and we are that today. But just across the industry, you mentioned it, and in sitting here at GDC, I reflect on friends of mine in the industry that have been displaced and lost their jobs, and how I don't want this industry to be a place where people can't, with confidence, build a career. The only people who are confident and will build a career because they're not going to do anything is literally the diversity hires. Because you're hiring them not because of their skill, not because of their creativity. It's that they fill that check mark that you guys have to follow from, what is it, ESG or whatever the company is that gives you the social points. BlackRock. Tell BlackRock to go fist themselves. That's why I keep pivoting back to how does this industry get back to growth? You don't follow woke ideology. That's your answer. But to your question for us at Xbox or any of the teams that are out there, it is really an outcome of the industry that's not growing. It can grow and it will grow again. No, it won't. It'll keep dying. Now, I'm sad because I don't want the video game industry to die. But if it needs to die in order to get people like Phil Spencer out of it, or to be a huge wake-up call, then so be it. Burn the circus tent down. But you see this time right now, and the implications have human impact, and we should all reflect on that and think about it, Spencer asserted. He said that while still maintaining his position. As for how he plans to solve what he views as a growth problem, he plans to eschew. I'm going to look up how to pronounce this one, because that's a new one to me. Oh, I can't. Eschew. Okay, I was saying it right. There we go. He said, I will say every decision we make today and tomorrow is for the better of Xbox. Not at all. I know sometimes things get weaponized and there's some evil in the background that's making us do things. Yeah, it's called wokeness. Phil hates exclusives, and that's why we're like PlayStation and Switch now. Every decision we make is to make Xbox stronger in the long run. Doesn't mean everything's going to agree with everyone's going to agree with our decisions we make, but it is fundamental for how we make the decision. Except your decision is garbage. And it should be made clear from literally the reasons why you have to let go of people. We're making the company go this way. Oh, it's not growing. I guess we got to let go of more people. Then it'll grow. Oh, it's still not growing? Got to lay off more people. Yeah, keep doing that. It'll work eventually. It's like when these retards say, that wasn't real socialism. That wasn't real communism. It's like, we'll get it right this time. How about just the concept of it is the problem? It's like I made before the example. It's like, take this poison. Well, I mean, what the heck? You didn't die right away. Well, why are you complaining about it? It's not like you died right away. You're just mostly poisoned. You're just mostly dead. God. It's like, how about you just don't give out the poison? This notion that Xbox can only be this one device that plugs into a television isn't something we see in the Gen Z research. Well, there's your problem right there. Fuck the Gen Z research. How about you focus at the people who were the old generation and are now older but yet still support you? Because nothing else is like that for them. He continues. Some of them will have an iPhone, some will have an Android, but all the games and everything is the same. I can still get to TikTok on both of them, at least for now. All of their stuff is available everywhere they want. So for Xband, well, they should expand, or they're trying to expand, if you catch my drift. Our brand pivot as we attract and maintain relevance with a younger audience is Xbox is a place where I can find the great games I want to. Is that why you're getting like rid of the 360 Game Pass? Is that why you want everything to go digital? Is that why you claim to want to maintain the relevance to the younger audience, but yet out of that you then focus on a bunch of activist weirdos? Well, you're going to fail every time. And I hope you fail. So the layouts come as Microsoft has fully embraced the woke agenda. Xbox head of Game for Everyone and Sustainability, Caddy Joe Wright, made this abundantly clear in an interview with Game Industries while promoting the game's Gaming for Everyone product inclusion framework. Oh, yeah. Just reading that right there, you are doomed to fail. That the company developed in 2019, once again, around the time when Bad Orange Man became president, and is making public for other developers to follow, which other developers out there, if you can, completely ignore it. She explained the purpose of the framework to Game Industries. If you don't intentionally include, you will unintentionally exclude. Nah, I say if you don't intentionally include, you will intentionally avoid the fakes. That is how we are as human beings. There's no shame in that. If you want to include, you have to be intentional about it. Well, how about you read the writing on the wall that when you include, all it is then you gatekeep and kick out the people who made it to where you were able to get in there, you know? Bring back gatekeeping. That's what we need to do. Kick these faggots out and bring back gatekeeping. The company also employs proud racists such as Kelly Lombardi, who posted to X in March, raise your hand if you're not a white man and you buy video games. She added, no hate to white dude. It's just another day in the gaming industry that minorities have to fight to prove that they exist. Well, you're retarded because we know that minorities exist. We know that. If the video game industry show that the majority of people in there are white people and male, that's how it is. Accept it. Because the women that are also a part of it could shit talk back in the old days of, in a COD lobby. What you're catering to is to a bunch of fakes and activists and pussies who don't care about the gaming industry, who just see dollar signs and clout that they'll ride in on until they've destroyed it, and then they'll move on to the next thing. That's the problem. Ex-CEO Elon Musk condemned Lombardi and Microsoft, posting, it should not be acceptable for any company in the gaming industry to be racist and sexist against, quote, white guys. Not only does the company employ individuals like Kelly Lombardi, but it uses its video games to push disordered lifestyles and evil ideologies. Yes, very true. The company's Halo X account did this at the beginning of last month's writing with the gay-ass Happy Pride Month, LGBTQ AIXL, quotation mark, parentheses, asterisks. In fact, Halo composer Marty O'Donnell even revealed that the wokeness had been seeping into the company as far back as 2002. Exactly. Yep. Doug Tenable talked about it when I asked him, when he worked on like The Lion King and Earthworm Jim and stuff. He said that stuff was there, but people weren't retarded and saw it and kept those people out. But some people were laid back and said, oh, that's never going to happen. And look what happened. You got relaxed and they weaseled in. And we've already read Martin O'Donnell's paragraph, so we'll skip that. What do you make of the new round of layoffs at Microsoft and Xbox? Well, if the people who got laid off were woke people, then yeah, I'm not shedding a tear for them. If they legitimately contributed to the company and are being laid off because the woke ideology isn't making them enough money, then yeah, that sucks for them. And Xbox can go, play around with a bunch of dynamite and play on some train tracks in Minecraft. And I hope they fail, so they can get the shit out of their ears and realize that you don't need to cater to these weirdos. All right, and now we are on the main one. Before we're wrapping this up and before we read this article, if you're new, make sure to hit the subscribe and punch that thumbs up and turn on notifications to get notified when we go live. Right now, we're on YouTube, we're on Rumble, we're on Kick, and we are on X. And any of my other social medias is listed either in the description or on my link tree. And if you want to go beyond helping pushing the channel beyond just the algorithm, maybe check out membership and subscription tiers. Will help go towards just growing the channel, but I'm blessed and humbled that you guys are taking the time to hang out with me before this 4th of July. But sadly, we are on a worrisome article here. Again, from that Park Place, Disney executive admits he wants children to see LGBTQ content. So Amit Gurnani, a creative marketing director at the Walt Disney Company, shared his desire to push LGBTQ on children. Who the hell is this thing? Makeup Boy? Makeup Boy is a makeup fag. Wait. Norm said it best.
This guy must be a fag.
Yes. Methinks he is. So during an undercover sting conducted by James O'Keefe and his O'Keefe Media Group, one of O'Keefe's journalists said, I despite those kinds of people that want to accuse Disney of grooming children. You are. But I also want children to see LGBTQ content. Don't you agree? Gurnani responded, yeah, of course. That's the unspoken thing. See, and then these people get mad when you say this sort of stuff, that you're grooming children, you're trying to corrupt them with disgusting immorals and debauchery and stuff like that. And then when you call them like the groomers and stuff, they get really ass mad about it. Really, really ass mad. And it's like, no, I don't. And it's like, but dude, a lot of your arguments involved letting kids explore, letting kids feel the way there is. In order to spread awareness to this, you have to go to a library, a drag show, and read the stuff to children. You have to. No, you don't. If you want to try to convince people to be accepting of the LGBTQ, field, do it to adults who can make that decision. Leave kids alone. It's very simple, very easy. So when people call you groomers, when a lot of your talking points somehow has to have the words kids mentioned in them, yeah, you are doing some sort of grooming to children. And for the people out there that point out like, oh, I don't see you condemning, your, religions and priests and all that stuff. It's like, dude, even that, man. This is why me personally, I got issues with a lot of denominations out there, because all of them have very disgusting pagan shit in them that need to be removed. That's why I simply try to read and follow the scripture. Later in the video, Gurnani revealed the current project he was working on. So big current projects that will take up the rest of the four or 5 months will be Pride. Ah, yes, Pride. The very thing that caused Lucifer to fall. Hallel ben Shakar is his actual name, which means Hallel, son of the dawn. Iniquity was found into him. That would be wickedness, because he was prideful for being very beautiful. In fact, God compliments him and say you are perfect in your beauty and splendid in your beauty. But iniquity was found in you, meaning he developed it. And then he convinced a lot of the other angels to follow him. He wanted to be like God and be on the same shelving unit. And he was booted out until he gets kicked out of the second heaven and then just gets stuck on earth, which that won't be good. And was degraded to Satan status, the accuser. A lot of demons and stuff are also referred to as Satans. Don't get that wrong, but Lucifer was the big one, and he's still very powerful, by the way. Yes, his power is probably being limited, and I mean his destiny is already predetermined. Like, we know what's going to happen to him because Scripture says so. But do not downplay just on how powerful the guy is. Scripture actually doesn't say if he lost all his powers. He was just downgraded to accusation status, Satan. He also discussed how Disney and their Pride nights. What is with the retarded spelling? Like, I'm actually getting really tired of, like, it's cool and hip to, like, take words that have already been established with specific letters and then just changing it. Nights. Let's just drop that GH. You know, like Leslie from that gay fat bitch who's doing the acolyte. Got to spell it with that Y. You know, it's like, oh my gosh. It's like, I'm so original. It's like, not really. So I'm not sure that they brought on the program yet, but they just started doing these Pride nights. Last year was the first one. Before this, every Pride night was a third party in partnership with Disney. You know, they would bring it in and Disney would help. But now Disney is doing it themselves. It's a big step. It's disgusting. Keeps reporting confirms that the Walt Disney Company has not abandoned its goals to advance LGBTQ agenda. It's the company CEO Bob Iger claimed in April. Of course. Dude. Do not trust these people at all. A lot of times they're lying. A whopping 95% probably always lies. No, get over there. During the company's annual shareholder meeting, Iger was asked about an alleged shareholder. Is it possible for Disney to stay out of politics and social agenda and just provide entertainment? It's not impossible. Apparently, companies have forgotten how to do that, even though literally 80s, 90s, early 2000s were like successful at doing it. Hence why they take these established franchises and then bastardize them. He replied, "Our job is to entertain first and foremost. And yet you're doing crap like this." And by telling great stories, we continue to have a positive income on the world and inspire future generations, just as we've done for over 100 years. Well, people in the past did that. You particularly didn't. In fact, we could probably say you made it worse. You've destroyed the Walt Disney Company. Disney has always been and will continue to be a source of hope, joy, and optimism for people of all ages. Well, I don't see any hope and joy and optimism for people. I see that in terms of corrupting, the youth, which I think is your actual hope and joy. We are committed to telling stories that reflect the world around us and use those stories to entertain stories from all walks of life. Yes, except the people that you're catering to don't live in reality. They live in this pseudo world where you can literally just be whatever you want. I believe we have a responsibility to do good in the world. Who gave you that authority? Reminds me of the when, I forget what award he won, but when Mr. Rogers gave that speech about, or maybe when he's even talking to the Senate, that people who are in charge, like who have the opportunity to be on television or have a show or X Watch or XYZ. I don't know why I said X Watch, but you have a responsibility to provide entertainment. And you have a big, like, that's a big job and big responsibility, and you should take it seriously. These people, I feel, do not take it seriously. Because if they would look at the overall thing, the people that they're catering to does not make up the majority. Sorry. Hate to say it. It's not to say that if you write a story that I guess naturally just, yeah, this character does really well being gay or whatever, then I guess that's one thing. But to literally fist it down the throats of kids, no less, no. He then declared, "But we know our job is not to advance any kind of agenda. But you're doing it. So as long as I'm in the job, I'm going to continue to be guided by a sense of decency and respect. Except you're not doing it, and we will always trust our instincts." Well, there's a problem right there. You don't trust your instincts. Trust the Lord, first of all. Now, I believe that the Lord has blessed me via the Holy Spirit a good intuition of when to, notice something or not. But that comes from God. This is coming from the world, from Satan. So numerous Walt Disney companies had previously shared that the company was indeed advancing social agendas and specifically queer and transgender ideology. Christopher Rufo shared a clip from the company's Reimagine Tomorrow conference back in 2020, where the company's Walt Disney Parks and Resorts Diversity and Inclusion Manager, Vivian Ware, shared how she was removing gender language from the parks. Ware stated, "We're in the process of changing over those recorded messages, and so many of you are probably familiar when we brought the fireworks back to the Magic Kingdom. We no longer say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we say dreamers of all ages." What a bunch of bitches. We need to just go, I'd love to, just go to Walt Disney and then just specifically look out, all the woke shit and then just call out and be like, why is it saying this? Back in the day, it was this. Possibly I'd get kicked out, but it'd still be funny. So I love the fact that it's opened up the creativity. How does that open up the creativity? Oh my gosh. It opens up the infestation. Is what it opens. It opens up that wound. The opportunity for our cast members to look at that. We have our cast members working with merchandise, working with food and beverages, working with all of our guest-facing areas, or perhaps we want to create the magical moment with our cast members, with our guests too, she said. She concluded, "We don't want to just assume because someone might be in our interpretation, may be presenting as a female, that they may not want to be called princess. Literally defeats the purpose of what a princess is." Oh my gosh. So let's think differently about how do we really engage with our guest in a meaningful and inclusive way that makes it magical and memorable for everyone. Just stick to prince and princesses, male and female. Not difficult. Again, you know what a lot of people should do to combat this is when you go to Walt Disney, just get really upset when they pull shit like this. I think it'd be funny. Or just call it out and be like, dude, no. Say man and woman, Say princess. Wonder what would happen if a lot of people did that at once, Probably wouldn't, in the end, honestly, it probably wouldn't end up well because I think Walt Disney has their own security stuff. So they'd be a bunch of beta bitches and call security and have you removed from the park. This is clearly part of transgender ideology that attempts to remove the distinction between men and females and pushes the agenda that men can be women and women can be men. Nope. This agenda has also been showcased in the company's parks where one of the male employees dressed up as a female and was grading individuals at the Bibbidi Bobbidi boutique in Disneyland. We are not watching. This guy. Furthermore, the company's collaborated with a man named Sean Altman, who wears girls' dresses in order to sell branded Disney products. Oh my gosh. The agenda was also injected into the company's Star Wars Young Jedi Adventure Disney Junior series. Oh my gosh. Is it really called that? In the show's Clash episode, the series' main character, Kai, is introduced to a rival character named Jovi Rizmia by Master Zia. When Master Zia introduced Jovi, she said, "Today, I'd like you to train with Jovi. They'll give you a different kind of challenge." Oh my gosh. Along with this agenda, Disney's television animation executive producer LaToya Revenue revealed she's been injecting a not at all secret gay agenda in the show she works on. She said during the Reimagined Tomorrow conference, "In my little pocket of proud family Disney's TVA, showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda." Of course. She added, "Maybe it was the way in the past, but I guess something must have happened in the last. They are turning it around. They're going hard." And then, like all that momentum that I felt, the sense of I don't have to be afraid to let's have these two characters kiss in the background. I was just whatever I could do, just basically adding queerness. If you see anything queer in the show, no one stopped me, and no one was trying to stop me. Disgusting. That just goes you don't give a shit about the show. It's noted by Gurnani. The company is also hosting Pride Nights in its parks. Parks divisions hosted a Disneyland After Dark Pride Night at Disneyland last June. Wow. Gay. Company held a second one this year. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah. So they held a second one. This is just starting to get annoying. Yeah, I wrote on the website, "Oh, it's coming back. All your fabulous foods and divine drinks." Disneyland, it celebrates. Yeah, whatever. Bringing allies and community members together. No, you're not. You're so in Discord is what you're doing. The company also partnered with a company called Equal Pride to create pro-sodomy content that would create systematic and meaningful change. What? Disney Advertising Senior Vice President of Client Partnership John Campbell spoke to Adweek about this partnership and others with groups such as Coquina Group, Black, and United Masters. He said, "What we're trying to do is create systemic and meaningful change in the end." Isn't that hilarious that they accused of, America being... of there being systemic racism, systemic whiteness, and systemic, white privilege and all this bullshit. And yet here they are literally just doing the exact same thing. But when they do it, it's okay because, it's for the greater good. Fuck off. None of us are here for the Heritage Months only, he elaborated. We are all active 365 days a year. Then just let it be. So if clients wants to work with us for 5 days or 52 weeks, we have solutions. These teams here are all part of those solutions. What do you make of Gurnani confirming Disney's LGBTQ plus agenda aimed at children? Disgusting. And should be thrown into the wood chippers. Can't let children just be. And again, you have to cater to weirdos who don't even know themselves, because they just don't want to admit the fact that no matter what their mind's telling them, you're either a male or a woman. Or a female, I guess. I don't know why I didn't say, men and women. And oh my gosh, lots of... I was trying to see if there was any comments, but all I'm seeing is just ads. But yeah, the answer is simple. Stay away from kids, and once you're an adult, you can do whatever the hell you want. But you get up in my face about it, I'll share you my thoughts. Then you can piss off. You shared your thoughts with me, I guess. I'll share you mine. Now get the hell out of my face, Well, that is all we have for tonight. So, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Once again, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button to get and turn on notifications to get notified when I go live. And make sure to check out my other social media as well, listed in the description or on my link tree. And with that, let's see any redirects we can do over on YouTube and Rumble. Nina Infinity's still live. She might be signing off, though. But we'll save Nina Infinity on YouTube. And then Alex Zedra on Rumble. That'll be fun. Oh, come on. Thanks again, you guys, for joining me. Take care. Have a good rest of your night. Happy 4th of July. I will be online. But until then, catch you then. God bless. Take care. Peace.